Hello, hello. Welcome to The Play That Changed My Life, podcast that's just an elaborate excuse to get more theater into my life. I'm Patrick White. This is brought to you by Harbinger and OSM Studios. And in the studio today, we have our very special guest, audience member, usher extraordinaire, Debra Kelsey. Hello, Debra.
Hello, Patrick.
Welcome.
It's my honor to be with you, to share this stage with you and Josie, to talk about theater, my true love.
It's going to be fun.
It is.
And Josephine E. Tracey, who is appearing in Harbinger's production of Into the Breeches. Hello, Josie.
Hello, Patrick.
How are you?
I'm thrilled to be here.
Excellent. So we've known each other. Sometimes I have guests on here. Actually, the last episode I had guests on here who I hadn't spoken more than 10 words to, but that is not the case today. I've known both these women quite some time. So this is going to be fun. Debra, we just saw each other last night.
We did, at a theater.
At a theater. Imagine that.
I know. It was
We never
awesome.
bump into each other at the grocery store or the diner.
No.
It's always at a theater. And that's
Right.
how Chris and I know Debra. We probably... We were talking about how do we know each other, and obviously it's through the theater. But when we first met, and I thought you were going to give me some story like the first time I saw you, but no, it's just it was like the fifth time that week that we had
Correct.
bumped into you or something, and it was either at Chester or Shakespeare and Company or Bridge Street.
Right.
The number of places. So how many places do you usher?
19.
Oh my gosh.
And it's
19.
a number of counties. So
Yeah.
I live in Columbia County. So I have 2 theaters in Columbia County that I usher in. I have 9 in the Berkshires. 5 or 6 in Albany County. And then Schenectady, I think it's 4 or 5.
That's 21.
21. So it's 21 then.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how we get to see you so often.
Right.
Yeah, I started reviewing shows so I could see more theater. So ushering is also a way to go.
Yes.
What's your favorite place to usher?
I don't have a favorite. And
Okay,
it
what's
wouldn't
your
be
least favorite?
And I can't, I have to always be positive.
Yeah.
I can't put any theater down. And each theater, as you know, and Josie knows, has a different feel to it. And they're all very welcoming and loving. And I love them all for different reasons. They all just have their own little special way of doing things.
Yeah.
And it's, it's so fun that they call theaters houses,
Yeah.
because you do feel like you're going to a home sometimes. And I think that's kind of a cool thing that they call a theater the house.
Yeah, that is nice.
Yeah.
I always feel like as a director that pretty much the moment you leave your house, that's your theater experience. I can't really do much about your commute, but once you enter the house, that the theater is responsible for your experience, not just the playwright and the director and the actors, but how you find your seat and myself. I'm not a big fan of curtain speeches. I think they get in the way. They interrupt the experience, and sometimes I know people who think the curtain speech is part of the show, which is a different thing, but this is, we're going to talk about ushering for a second.
Go for it. I've done it, but not nearly as much as you.
One of my bones of contention, like you volunteer, so you get to see more theater.
Correct.
Yeah. But there are sometimes, and especially I think since the pandemic, complaints about audience behavior, and whether it's cell phone use or singing along with popular music, or just bringing food in or something like that. And I contend, or that it is the usher's job to maintain order. Sure. And I know it's a lot to ask of a volunteer, right?
Right, but it's part of the job description.
You feel that way?
Yeah, and in different houses you have different training. So if you're not comfortable, telling somebody to turn off their phone or move that, take that wrapper and put it away, then you would just go to the house manager.
Yeah.
But if you're comfortable doing it, you do it.
Yeah, and you should be comfortable if you're doing the job, right?
Correct.
What's the most contentious audience member that you've encountered? I know you want to stay positive.
He's going to get you.
There really hasn't been anybody
that... Okay.
I think... Because we all know how to talk to people to get what you want. So you can talk to somebody in a nice tone of voice to get what you want.
I had Harbinger performs at Albany Barn. We get Albany students because Angela Leckie, do you know Angela?
I don't.
She is a professor, an adjunct at Albany, and she requires her students to come see a Harbinger production. And so we'll get, dozens of young kids.
And their first time seeing a live show.
Right.
Because I've sat next to them.
Right.
Yeah.
And we'll get questions like, do I have to stay until the end? Or I interrupted someone at a show who was FaceTiming during a performance.
Oh, dear.
Like, where are you? Yeah, I'm at the theater. Yeah. And I could safely ask her to stop FaceTiming. But, and Chris kind of gets oh, these kids. Oh. And I'm like,
it's our job to educate them.
Right. And if we have 100 students come in, you're going to make an impact. And, the chances are good, if you've done your work, that you're going to make a positive impact.
Amen.
Yeah? And it's better that they come.
Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that it's really important because I find that oftentimes I'm one of the youngest people in a theater in the audience, and I'm not young, so that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to get more young people in the theater.
Absolutely. I think sometimes that is a matter of habit. If you've never been, you don't feel welcome.
Right.
It's, an experience beyond your, beyond your experience. That, and it's important to, have that experience young.
Yeah.
But I also, are we producing theater for young people? Like, why, what is in what we're producing that is relatable, or, is there something that would interest an 18-year-old?
Well, it depends on the 18-year-old. When I was 18, all of that would have interested me. But, it really does depend on the individual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have complaints? Do you have audience experiences which you kind of wish were different?
So I would like it if people if people refrain from saying out loud to their fellow theater goer, I think he's gonna die, or I bet she's the murderer, or I think they're gonna get married, or whatever it is, or just maybe not exclaiming out loud, like as I say to my students, think it, don't say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice that they're so engaged.
It's lovely. But it's not talking to the TV.
My mother used to do that, like watching TV. She'd be sitting in the corner with her newspaper up. And, now, who's that?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's, you can't help but laugh afterwards. But in the moment, it's like, don't.
I have a funny story about an audience member speaking out loud. I was doing a play called Life Class by David Story, and it's about a rugby team in Yorkshire. And the play is all set in the changing room. And a bunch of rugby players come in, they get into their uniforms, and then it's halftime, then they shower and go home. So we're changing on stage, and there are lockers, and you get totally naked, put on your jockstrap, and and so there were a bunch of guys, and we would all, there were like 19 guys, and we would all change like up in our lockers far upstage, being very, trying to be as nondescript as possible with our, butts hanging out. And we did a matinee for seniors, and you hear this one older woman say, "That one's cute." We're all like, yeah.
Well, that's so funny. That reminds me. So did you see Take Me Out?
Yes.
Okay. The recent one. So I went to see that. And there were a couple women next to me. I didn't know what the play was about. And found out. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
All right. So along the lines of his rugby play. Mm-hmm. And that was another time when I was in the audience, but there were I heard someone say, "Oh my God," there was like a lot of that, like just audible, and so that's not, but it's funny. It's funny.
Yeah, well, it's hard sometimes. It's hard to control, right?
It is.
So Josie, did you go to theater as a young child? Did your parents take you to theater?
No, they didn't. I remember going to the Nutcracker once when I was little with a bunch of other families of girls from my school. But that's the ballet. But what started me in theater was being in theater at my school.
Yeah.
So no, my family were not regular theater goers.
When did you attend theater?
When I started attending theater as an adult, and
college, or
you mean going as a theater goer?
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't really afford much in college. I would just go to I could go to the plays at college.
Yep. Where'd you go to school?
I went to Tufts University.
Excellent.
So I was in shows there, and I obviously, and then I attended shows there. And though I was in Boston, I didn't have a ton of cash to go, see stuff.
Sure.
So it wasn't until I was an adult, like out of college adult, and then I continued to act and go see things in the Capital Region. And then I ended up taking, I did see a few things during this time, but I took 11 years off from being in theater until I auditioned for one of your plays.
Yeah. Did you grow up here?
Yes.
Oh, great. So you went to Tufts, and then this is home.
This is home.
Yeah.
Yes, I grew up in Ravenna.
Ah, that's where my nephew went to school.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know your nephew.
Oh, yeah?
I've met him.
Yeah, Aiden.
I have met
Little
him.
Hellion.
I have met him a few times. He's very sweet.
Oh, yeah.
And I went to school in Albany. So I went to
Yep.
grade school, high school in Albany. So.
And you have two boys?
I do.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you take them to the theater?
Yes.
Oh,
I do.
awesome.
I do. Yep. I have a 13-year-old son and a 15-year-old son.
What do they enjoy?
not shows where mommy does real weird things.
And that narrows it down. What show have they liked of yours?
They liked Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh, excellent.
Okay. They could deal with that. They were
I had an Agatha Christie kick when I was like 15.
reading it.
Yeah.
Oh, I've read all of her books more than once.
Yeah, for some reason, she really
I
appealed to
love-
me at that age.
Well,
But
maybe I'm an arrested adolescent, but I'm still at it.
so, what else?
What have they liked, or what have they? So they did not see. So the cake, that was 2 years ago, so they would have been 2 years younger. But the one that was 13 at the time, Thomas, I said, okay, well, it's there's certain things that may be a little uncomfortable for you, but I think you're a big enough fella to handle it. The little one, not so much. And he was like, I don't think I want, because I described some things that were going to be happening in the cake, and he said, no thanks. And I get that. And then in It Should Have Been You, my older son Thomas liked that, thought that was very madcap and funny, and I played a drunken, sort of nymphomaniacal mother-in-law from hell.
He had no problem with that.
He didn't, but my younger son did not like that I had a wig on, so it was like he thought I had cut my hair and was like,
What?
He was freaked out. He thought, and like I was blonde, and he was like, he had a real, like, it jolted him. And they also didn't love that I was, Dennis Skiba and I were, in flagrante delicto. Not really, but enough where it was like,
representation.
that's my mom,
Sure.
Being an oversexed middle-aged couple. So he didn't love that, but they got to go to Cornell's for dinner after.
Oh.
So if you bribe the younger one with a good meal after, he'll go. And I insist.
He's got good taste.
Oh, very well.
Cornell's.
We're Italian.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't.
Yeah, but
Italians
no
don't go
chicken nuggets. Wow.
Italians
That's
don't go
good
out to
stuff.
Italian restaurants unless they're really good.
That's good stuff.
It is real good stuff. So I'd say the older one is, he is more artistic.
Okay.
He's a musician. He started a band. He really appreciates, he's frankly likes more of the stuff that I like, which is the arts and humanities stuff. And then my younger son, it's just not really his thing right now. And he's 13, he's in 8th grade, and that's fine, because you never, children are like a box of chocolates.
Yeah.
And they're both just delightful fellas.
Sure.
I say little, they're both bigger than me now. But you'll see them because they'll be there. I think it's important. I think it's very important to have them come to shows. And the reason why, it's like, so my older son plays football now. I don't know anything about football, okay? But I go to the games because I think it's important to model, you show up for your people that you love.
Yeah.
So yes, that's probably a very convoluted answer, but yeah, but I continue, and like I brought Thomas, my older one, to see complete works of Shakespeare abridged at SLOC. That was maybe last year or year before or something like that, and he loved that. So he'll go see stuff with me. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got a new audience member.
He doesn't want to act, but I think he'd be very good.
We'll see.
But not pushing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deborah, I just heard you grew up in Queens.
Yeah.
Yeah? And were you a theater goer as a child, as a young adult?
I was.
When did you start going to theater?
Probably middle school.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what kind of theater were you seeing in middle school?
Well, we would just take the train in on Wednesday afternoons and see matinees all the time.
On Broadway.
On Broadway.
You lucky.
So lucky.
Yeah.
So what are your memories, like first shows that you went to go see?
Well, I don't remember a lot of them. Just the whole experience of getting on the train and seeing them.
And is that with family?
It was with family. And then in high school, we would go with girlfriends from
Yep.
high school.
Saturday or Sunday, the family would go
Yeah.
to a matinee, and then in high school, you're going with girlfriends, and it's a social experience.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I cannot.
Can you imagine?
No, I was stuck in Reno.
Let's go see a show.
I know. Oh, it's great.
Yeah. So, do you remember any shows in high school?
I don't.
Yeah.
The
Excellent.
seeds were planted. That's
Yeah.
all I know.
Yeah. And
I could probably look somewhere and find some old playbills
Yeah.
somewhere.
what years was this?
In the 80s.
Oh, great. I was there in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
We were probably going to the same stuff. I'm sure. We probably bumped into each other then. We had a great program. I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and they had this huge bulletin board in the lobby. And it would have reviews on it, and it would have flyers of like graduates are working off, or something. And then it would have postings like free tickets, and you would go in and you would visit the registrar, Ruth Newman, who was a lovely older woman, woman of a certain age, and you would go and visit her, and you would pick up tickets to anything, like a lot of Broadway stuff. And you could see anything from like Doonesbury the musical to the first production of Burn This with John Malkovich, and and just great stuff. And I went all the time during school. I also had a job around the corner from school down on Madison and 30th. Dramatist Play Service is in one of those high rises down there, and I worked in the stock room, shipping out plays to high schools, colleges, and just collecting plays and packing them up and shipping them off. I was an office boy, and there was a guy in the office who would scout new plays. Like if a playwright had a play going on in the city and he wanted it published, we would go and check it out, and I could go to free theater that way.
So the seeds were planted back then.
And you could read. You could probably surreptitiously read some stuff.
You got a free copy a week.
Oh,
And that's where my
is that where your huge collection?
my serious habit of collecting
and you're still
plays.
reading plays weekly?
I try, yeah. It's been difficult with everything going on. A little busy.
little bit.
But I'd love to read more. Yeah, I read all the time. I've actually got an acting class starting tomorrow, and I'm kind of like, I wish I had more new material. I've got some, but I like bringing in new scripts into class and, finding new plays and new scenes.
Is that your favorite thing to read? Do you like to read, books, literature, nonfiction?
Yeah. I worked in a bookstore for a number of years. I worked in Laureates, which went out of business, and then I worked in Borders, which went out of business. I spent, 10 years, 13 years in bookstores. And when I was in a bookstore, I would try and read one of every genre. And I would read a lot more. Now, I'm really laser focused. I read scripts or I read books on theater. Pretty much. Yeah, that's all I read. I read the newspaper, but yeah. So, did you go to school?
I went to Catholic school in Queens.
Yeah?
Marta Christie High School.
Oh,
Where in Queens?
Astoria.
cool.
Have we talked about this?
No, sir.
I was at the Ditmars Boulevard stop for 10 years. It's 84 to 94. Yeah, 2317 33rd Street. And where was your school?
Astoria.
Yeah. Okay.
I got off the bus, went inside.
All right. Now, when Chris and I bumped into you a few years ago, was that your start of Did your playgoing accelerate, or
I think it probably has accelerated over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you've always gone.
Yeah, I've never not gone to the theater.
Okay.
But going in the summer 5 days a week is fairly new.
Wow.
Maybe the last 4 years.
Yeah, it's a schedule.
It's a schedule.
It's a schedule in the summer.
Yeah.
When the Berkshires are popping.
Sometimes it's a double header.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of times.
A lot of times it's a double header.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you go up to Vermont?
Well, on your recommendation, I went to Dorset this summer, and it was a phenomenal little theater. I loved it dearly.
Yeah.
I didn't work it. I was a patron, but I really loved it.
Yeah, it's a jewel.
It's a little jewel.
It's this old barn, old wood,
Yeah.
Adirondack chairs on the porch, twinkly fairy lights, and and it's set back in the woods.
Oh, wow.
You're surrounded
I'll
by
have to go.
forest.
I will have to go to that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
really sweet. And then the inside the house is really comfortable. It's got a high ceiling. It's got they do a beautiful job on the sets. Like
Yeah.
the sets are.
AC,
Phenomenal.
air conditioning.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's stadium seating.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
very
Great
comfortable.
rise. Great rise. Oh, and there are these seats on the right-hand side that are on the aisle, and they're like double wide. It's like row H or something. And
It's like a love seat.
Yeah. and I review up there, and they now give me that seat. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
that I'm a big guy.
Right.
But yeah, it's
And
gorgeous.
I branched out to Connecticut also. I did
Very good.
the Playhouse, Sharon Playhouse.
Oh yeah, that's a nice theater.
It's a lovely theater.
Yeah, same idea.
Right.
In a
So
barnish type
Massachusetts,
structure.
Connecticut, New York,
Yeah.
and a couple of different boroughs.
Yeah. What'd you see in Dorset?
I saw the one
True Art? Beauty Queen?
Beauty Queen.
Beauty Queen.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the sets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the actors were just top notch.
Harriet Harris was in that. Do you know who she is?
Are you
She
kidding?
was- yeah.
She originated the role that I played in It Should Have Been You
Yeah.
on Broadway, and she's BB from Frasier.
Yeah.
She's been like an idol of mine since I was a teenager.
Yeah, she
I'm
does
kind
a,
of obsessed with her.
That was a peak experience.
She's
this
amazing.
she
summer.
does a lot of work in the area. She must
Yeah.
live up here.
I
Seeing
would,
that show was
that I
just
didn't
great.
know. I
Yeah.
would very much like to see her.
Oh no,
So
she did
what'd she do?
Sister Mary Ignatius
She did?
over at Berkshire. She
Okay.
did Eleanor Roosevelt. Is that correct? At Barrington Stage 2 summers ago.
Okay, I need
Two
to.
I
or
believe
three
so.
summers
Yeah.
ago?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to
Yeah,
do that
she's-
because I'm really into her.
Yeah, and up at Dorset, I did the play Dig by Teresa Rebeck. Teresa Rebeck's involved. She directed Beauty Queen. She's involved with the theater.
Right,
and-
you know her.
Well,
Well, I mean,
He
to a
knows
degree.
that.
I have her
To
email.
a degree. Yeah, but she responded.
Yes, she
You know,
did.
I mean-
She did. I know her. Yep. And that's awesome. I'm a member of the Berkshire Theater Critics Association.
Oh.
So we had the Berkey Awards coming up
Yes.
on November 11th.
Nice.
And they vote for productions that have gone up between October 1st, 2023 and September 30th, 2024. And a lot of summer productions in the Berkshires come up.
It's a
What-
lot of nominations.
Yeah.
But it's only-
Did you see the nominations?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
So tell me the date, the time frame again.
October 1st of 2023
Okay,
through September 30th of 2024.
got it.
So, and the requirements are that it has to be something that's been produced within 50 miles of Pittsfield.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
So
Albany
that,
counts,
yeah.
does it not?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Schenectady Civic.
Oh.
Yeah. Cohoes. Yeah.
Okay.
which, there's only there aren't as many Berkshire theater critics that cover
Yeah.
Schenectady, Albany, Cohoes. So
Yeah, they haven't done
so
a
they
lot
don't
of
get
that, yeah.
the nominations. Well, there are some, like Cap Rep got some, and Mac Hayden gets a bunch.
It was
Okay.
lovely.
Nice.
I don't think anything from Cohoes was nominated, which is not right.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Harbinger got a nomination
Yep.
for Kathleen Carey. And Schenectady Civic, Tony Pallone was nominated for August Osage County.
Nice.
And I think that's it for
Okay.
those two. But Cap Rep got a bunch too.
Yeah.
Cool.
But if you were a theater critic, what production stood out to you this summer?
Well, the one we discussed in
Beauty Queen?
Beauty Queen, and then also in Chester, Massachusetts, the one about the priest.
Yeah. Unreconciled?
Unreconciled.
Yeah, Jay Sefton.
That was spectacular.
Yeah.
I loved it.
One-man show.
Nice.
A young man who was abused at a camp,
No, church.
a church.
He had to do the pageant, and
Oh, right. He was an actor. He got cast.
yeah.
Like a nativity pageant?
Yeah.
Or something? Okay. And he got abused.
Yeah.
Oh God. Is it based on a true
Yeah.
story?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. And unreconciled refers to the fact that he wasn't accepting of the settlement
Right.
that was negotiated, which is in the news again. Because
certainly is, in
Los
LA,
Angeles
yeah.
just had.
And this gentleman wrote the play and starred in the play,
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
and he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Just
You know what he's doing right now?
I'll have to look that up.
no.
Have you ever been to the Majestic Theater?
Where's that?
Where is that?
West Springfield, Massachusetts.
No.
No.
It's very nice. Jay Sefton is playing James Tyrone in A Moon for the Misbegotten.
Oh,
Coming up
Oh.
when are you
at
going?
the end of October.
Oh, really?
If
Oh,
I
the
could
end of
steal
October.
his,
Oh.
if I could steal his brain
Yeah.
and take all his line learning.
You have
Shove
to,
it in
you
here.
have to go.
Yes,
a
yeah,
must.
I am
Is it-
playing James Tyrone in Moon for the Misbegotten at Schenectady Civic Playhouse, November 15th through November 24th. But yeah,
And we will be there.
We will.
ah,
Absolutely.
scary stuff.
You'll be fine.
You'll be wonderful.
So, yeah, you liked Unreconciled. I did as well.
Yeah.
I voted for it. Yes, and
Yeah. That whole theater is a little gem.
Chester Theater Company.
I
Yeah,
need to
again,
go.
it's a drive out.
Yeah.
20? Is it? Is that the road out of Lenox? You go out
directions,
from
but- Yeah.
from the mall, from the outlet mall
Oh,
in
yeah.
Lee,
It's 18 minutes from the mall.
and you go out
that's
that
not
road
bad.
past Jacob's Pillow, and then past the Holler.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
I just love Western Mass so much.
Yeah.
I love Lennox. I love the Mount. I'm a huge Edith Wharton file and just like to be there. And as well as see shows there.
Yeah.
So
Have you seen shows in the Mount?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
In the house. Yeah, it's
have.
pretty cool.
it's beautiful. It's just so neat to, I just find any kind of museum that was somebody's home that I find interesting. It's like
Right.
Hyde Park. You get to like be in FDR's childhood bedroom, and like I
Yeah.
just love that stuff. My history.
Have you ever done a show in like an immersive atmosphere, like something that's not a theater? Like,
No.
yeah.
What? No, I don't believe I have. Nope.
You
I
can't
might like it. I think I might like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris and I go to Provincetown for the Tennessee Williams Festival
Yes.
at the end of September.
Yeah.
We've gone for the past 8 or 9 years. And there are only a couple of stages in Provincetown, which
Yeah.
is odd.
There's the post
seeing
office.
it as, it's sort of the birthplace of American theater with the Provincetown Players. But there's the Provincetown stage, and then there's the high school. But
And the post office.
yeah, the cabaret stage.
I've seen comedians there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And Town Hall
Yeah.
has a stage,
Right.
But then they stage things in hotels, bars,
Oh.
the
Different
dunes,
Yeah, right.
a porch,
Yeah.
so yeah, all over the town, which is an interesting idea, for a festival.
Speaking of,
Speaking of,
is there a festival coming
there's a
to our
festival.
Don't say.
There is a festival coming. Of course, Tennessee Williams all centers around him, his work, his contemporaries.
Right.
Every year they take on a different theme, and it's there. It can be scholarly. They'll have lectures, Tennessee Williams 101 or 201. And they'll talk about his time in Provincetown, which was only 2 summers.
Yeah.
Very significant summers. But there's the summer he fell in love, and then the summer he was finishing Streetcar Named Desire, and he actually cast Marlon Brando from Provincetown. Brando showed up at his cabin, which was had a faucet leaking, and the light was out, and the fuse had blown, and Brando came in and fixed the sink and changed the fuse, and then read his part, and Margot Jones said, "He's amazing. You have to cast him." He pretty much got the part. I think he hitchhiked to Provincetown, but that's
a plumber that
that's the legend.
you'd like.
But they've been doing this festival. Next year, I think, is their 20th year.
Yeah.
And we've gone to festivals all over the place. We've been to Stratford Festival up in Canada, and other deals. And I've always thought for 20 years that the Capital Region should have a theater festival because
Definitely.
there's so much going on. Like, even to ourselves, we don't know the depth of the opportunities presented, and everyone that's doing stuff, and I just think there's such an extraordinary amount of participation, interest, attendance, that it should be celebrated and promoted, so that everyone knows, that we love our mac and cheese bowls, and our chili events or our wing walks, but theater is incredible in the Capital Region. I have a list of over 100 theater producing companies, and I'm sure I'm missing a dozen. Every time I come up with this, it changes and it moves and it grows, and there's always something going on. And we can look at this weekend. There's 9 or 10 offerings in the Capital Region this weekend, like every
and most
weekend.
weekends.
Yeah,
It's that way.
yeah.
Yeah.
If there's not a significant holiday, there'll be 10 offerings. Could be 10 to 15 offerings. So we're creating a festival. It's gonna go up in June of 2025, and we have a bunch of theater companies that are going to host events. Fort Salem Theater, Schenectady Light Opera Company, the Rep, Theater Institute at Sage, Sand Lake Center for the Arts, and am I missing one? Oh, and then we're going to culminate on Sunday with a huge event, hopefully getting as many companies as possible to participate and set up a table and show off their wares, sell subscriptions, or, talk about their history at the campus center at UAlbany. And there's going to be one-act plays and improv classes and round tables and Shakespeare and children's events, and it's just going to be an explosion, a plethora, a Dionysian celebration of theater. And to pay for that, we're having a fundraiser, a cast party, on October 27th at Cohoes Music Hall. It's $35, starts at 6 p.m. There will be free wine. Josh Sellers is sponsoring the party, Joseph Carr of Napa Valley, and there'll be Chardonnay, Cabernet, and Prosecco. We're going to have a cash bar beyond that. There's light fare from Cohoes Restaurants. There's going to be 10 performances, numbers from Beautiful, Be More Chill, and Spring Awakening. Underlining the theme of the festival, the kids from the Q Theater, who are 8 years old, to senior comic Judy Clements, who takes her stand-up act to retirement homes and assisted living communities. The theme of the festival is the Capital Region is a great place to love theater your whole life long. It's a great place to discover theater, to study theater, to leave and go off and create a career, to come back and find that, there's a place for you and you can create theater for the rest of your life.
Yes.
And a place for seniors to stay involved, to stay active. During our senior day, matinee theater players out in Sand Lake, who are a group of seniors who meet on Tuesday afternoons. They write plays, rehearse them, and then bring them to children, bring them to schools.
Lovely.
Yeah, they had an event just this past week in the cemetery. They brought, can you imagine like third graders and, coming out to the cemetery for
That's awesome.
For some theater. Yeah. And there's a senior group of improvisers, Controlled Chaos, senior group of singers, Act 2, with Judy Merriam, who's been on the show, Joan Horgan, Melissa Hoffman, and Gary Hoffman are members of Act 2.
I love them both.
Yes,
They're
so do I.
super.
So come to the cast party. It's a great time. There are still tickets left. There'll probably be tickets at the door. But yeah, we have $14,000 in raffle prizes.
Wow.
Come and buy $10 worth of raffle tickets, and you could win a season pass to Mack Hayden Theater, Fort Salem Theater, Harbinger Theater.
Lovely.
Over 35 companies have donated tickets to the raffle.
Great.
So come and get some cheap tickets.
I can't wait. I have purchased 2.
Excellent. So,
It'll be a good night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
yeah, I think so.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's, we're doing it for ourselves. Everyone's coming together to support each other, which is a beautiful thing in the Capital Region. I know when I started 25 years ago that there was a little more. I only worked at Albany Civic Theater for a number of years. It was, maybe 8 years or something like that before I worked at Schenectady Civic, before I started breaking down and working in different places. And I've heard from an older generation that you were with one company,
Right.
and that was,
Your home.
But now everybody works all over and
And
creates.
everybody shares their resources with
Yes.
one another.
Oh, yeah.
It's so vital.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very exciting. We've got a donation from, did you know about this? Proctor's Scene Shop?
No.
Proctor's has out in Rotterdam. They have this huge warehouse where they store furniture, set pieces, props. You can go there and find a jukebox or trees that were used in Fiddler on the Roof. They have all these birch trees that they made.
Oh, wow.
And they have a painter on staff, Laura Brignall, who's huge talent.
Yeah.
Like everything at Cap Rep has been painted by her. But they're donating $200 of scenery rental, and they want to talk about collaborating with the community.
Wonderful.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Because there are so many times at which one needs a piece of furniture or, what have you.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful to know. So you can rent things.
Yep.
I did not know that you could do that.
Yep.
That's great.
And it's huge. And,
wow.
like, whatever you might, I need a fainting couch or, something.
It'd be so fun to just walk around in there.
Yeah, it's a cool space.
You've been?
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. Actually, the trees that we built for the squirrels, I want them to go there. But, I was talking to them, and then a production of Into the Woods is happening at Sage, and they grabbed our trees.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah,
Great.
but they were all those hand-built trees that Barbara New created out of paper mache. Yeah. So they're
Very
going to be
cool.
in Into the Woods next weekend.
Oh, good.
But then hopefully they're going to go up to Proctor's Scene Shop.
Nice.
Great.
Yeah, I want those trees to live. Yeah. We have all these acorns, these beautiful acorns. I'm like, what do we do with them?
Right. They were huge.
Yeah. They're basketball-sized acorns. So that's the cast party and the festival.
Wonderful.
And Capital Region Good Times. How many theater you've worked at? ACT,
Okay.
SCP, SLOC.
Hang on. Let's see. Any second. Albany Civic, Schenectady Civic, Schenectady Light Opera, Sand Lake, Steamer 10, and now Harbinger.
And Steamer 10 was Hamlet.
It was indeed.
And you played...
I played Gertrude.
How old were you?
I was 24.
Yeah. And you played Gertrude opposite
Your better half.
Yes, my better half.
Yes.
Who is not here today.
Mr. Chris Foster. So
the reason why I have so many women guests is because he won't appear.
Really?
That's right.
Okay. I didn't know. Okay. I didn't know you wouldn't. Well, that's everyone's loss.
Yes.
First of all. Second of all, so Christopher and I he played Claudius to my Gertrude. They aged me up and put gray in my hair. And
attractive.
And it worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
The magic of theater.
The magic of theater. And so I was a very young, but Gertrude back then, I mean, she could have been only like 30. She could have had Hamlet at like 15, or whatever,
Yeah.
So, did that, and so I've known Chris longer than you.
Yes, you have.
And so, I know. So
you and Kathleen Carey.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So,
extraordinaire, Kathleen.
What?
Yeah, extraordinaire.
Yeah.
Who? Yeah, she's awesome. I want to work with her so badly someday.
Oh, it'll happen.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
You both keep hanging out.
That's right.
Bound to happen.
Yes.
Amen.
Yep.
Where was I going? I had a question.
Hamlet.
And it escaped me. Oh, it was directed by James Yara.
Yes.
Who I saw this summer.
Oh, yeah?
In 12th Night. At,
where?
Columbia County Players did a production at this dairy barn.
Okay.
I'm not going to get the name
12th
correct.
Night in a dairy barn?
Yeah,
All right.
because it was shaped like an O. It was shaped like the Globe Theater.
Oh,
and
wow.
like up in the balcony, it was a circular setting, and you could look down, and it was a circular building. They built this stage there, and this is the second summer I've gone. The guys were on here, Zach Gibson, and you praised my name recollection.
And where,
Frank
this is in
Segro.
what
and,
county?
and Zach Gibson.
Churchtown,
Berry.
in Columbia County.
Thank you,
So Columbia,
Deborah.
right. Oh, well,
I knew
that's-
there's a reason why I
Right.
had you.
'Cause Hudson's in Columbia County, so you're from.
Yeah.
I'm not terribly familiar with Columbia County
Yeah.
as a whole. Hudson, I
It's
love
less-
going to Hudson.
Less than an hour away.
Oh yeah, no, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I like taking the train down there, actually.
You're adventurous.
Oh yes, I took the train down, went to Kitty's restaurant for dinner, but also went to, oh gosh, what was it called? Wonderful little place, and it's new. Not the Great Beyond. I can't remember what it was, but it was on the main drag. But very nice, lovely
Great.
little adventure in Hudson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, go find some theater and find a new place to eat.
We have wonderful theater. The Ghent Playhouse is putting up a show.
That's right. They're doing The Outsider. They're closing that this weekend. I think we are going this Sunday.
Okay,
see
yeah,
you
that's a really nice
Sunday.
playhouse.
Yep.
I saw
It's a
all my
beautiful,
sons
cozy-
there
Yep.
this
Yeah.
spring, which was fantastic, and which starred one of the women that I'm into the Breeches with.
And then we also have the
Jackie,
Matt Caden
the
Theater
Georges.
Yeah.
in Columbia County.
Bill Shine was in All My... was it All My Sons?
I don't.
I think he's
I-
nominated for a Berkey.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he's a tall,
Okay.
middle-aged...
I don't know him.
He's
George,
good.
George Fillot was
Yeah.
in it.
Was
as well.
Joe?
I don't know everybody that was like in that show, but I only know Jackie because I'm in this play, and then I had gone up to her after the show when I saw All My Sons, and I was like, "You were so good," and because I thought she was so good, and she reappeared at the auditions for Into the
Yeah.
Breeches, and then I finally realized it was her. So.
Yeah, I've seen Jackie for years. Usually out at Sand Lake, she would work there.
Yeah.
But I think she recently retired.
She did.
And she would always say, "When are you going to do a show in the Berkshires?" Or, yeah. And now she's commuting.
She is, and it's a slog,
Yeah.
but it's wonderful of her to do it.
And that's another, thing about the festival is the
Yeah.
Berkshires have some world-class theater. They get reviewed by the New York Times. Productions move to Broadway. But their actors who live there come over to the Capital Region
Right.
because
we're
there's no
close.
community theater in Stockbridge, Pittsfield,
Right.
Lenox.
Right. Community theater is an important thing.
Yeah, I think it increases your enjoyment. It fuels, my participation in the theater arts. If I wasn't acting, directing, producing, I'm not sure, I would see as much as I do or,
Right. Right.
It's sort of like, like the creating a podcast. It just like,
Yeah.
you more and more and more and more. It just builds on
Yeah.
itself.
And we're so lucky that you do all four.
Oh,
We
well,
sure are.
It is my pleasure. It's a great life.
Amen.
Amen.
And we're so fortunate
is.
to see world-renowned theater.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I never go to the theater and say, "Oh, I should have stayed home."
Yeah.
Right?
I'm always so grateful that I have these experiences.
Right?
It's just heartwarming.
David Bunce asked me last week or a couple of weeks ago. He came to one of our friend raisers and he said, how often are you like blown away?
Right. It's a
Like,
good question.
More often than you
Yeah.
often than you imagine.
Right.
Like,
Yes. Yeah.
frequently.
Right.
Yep.
And I'll be on the phone driving back home saying to friends and family, you have to see this.
Yeah.
This is life-changing. You
Yeah.
have to experience this yourself.
Yeah.
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 And how lucky am I to recommend wonderful shows?
Yeah.
It's an honor.
Just ask Deborah.
Just ask Debra.
She's seen everything.
And I feel so fortunate to have seen such great productions.
Yeah, well, we're fortunate to have you in the audience.
Oh, I love it.
So now we're at that time in the program where I'm going to ask you, Deborah, what is the play that changed your life?
I would have to go back to elementary school and Radio City Music Hall. With my family and friends, and it was a tradition every year that we went, and to see that live nativity and the Rockettes
So beautiful.
and the Raggedy Ann and the Ice Skaters. And people would say, don't you kind of get tired of it? You know, it's very similar every year.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, what are you, crazy? You know, seeing those Santa Clauses and, you know, didn't even think that a lot of it was the same year after year, because to me, it was brand new. You know, wasn't, you know, repeating anything. And to this day, I see it every year.
Do you?
Yeah.
How many times do you think you've seen this?
Oh, I don't know, but I see it all the time.
Dozens,
and I like to
dozens.
go. Yeah, I like to go as soon as it opens.
Yeah.
You know.
Before it gets tired.
No, just
For the
run.
Rockettes.
For the run.
Get tired of kicking.
Yeah. No, they never get tired. No.
But they do end up doing like 3 and 4 shows a day, right?
Right. But and you
wow.
know, there's different groups that work.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I had a friend who worked backstage at Radio City, and I was there once. I visited her just to see, you know, where the camels go.
Right. And way.
Yeah. In the elevator.
Yeah.
In the elevator.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got a freight elevator that moves the animals.
Yeah.
And they can clean that up pretty
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
No,
There's
thank
still
you.
an
That's
odor.
not a job.
There's still
Oh.
an odor.
That's great.
Yeah.
Chris and I went, I don't know, a few years ago. Just, you know, we're in the city.
It's a
And
nice time to be
So
there.
that day, when I see it, I can go really early, like see at 10, and then I can do a 2 o'clock show and an 8 o'clock show. So those days, I could say I did
Nice.
3 shows.
that's thinking. Yeah, that is thinking. That is serious. You know, my family looks at me like my sister always says she wants to go to the city with me. And I go, I do 2 shows. And she goes, well, I'm only doing 1.
Right.
You know,
and then it's nap time.
But yeah. It's like, no, Chris and I go down, we do 2.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, funny, Josephine.
I've done double headers.
Yeah,
Yeah, not you know.
2 doshés. And Josephine, what is the play that changed your life?
Oh golly. Okay. Well, I did think about this. I talked to you the other day about this, and I feel I'm okay. I'll give one answer because it's the first thing that pops into my head. So it was the first time I had a lead role in high school, and that was in Anything Goes. When I was a
great
junior in
show.
high school, and I played Bonnie. I played the gangster's Moll to Moonface, you know, who's pretending to be a priest and all that. So that was huge, and I think, and I would say that why did that change my life? Besides being a wonderful play that I, you know, still know every word to, and still sing, you know, play the soundtrack, and is just really delightful. My theater director in high school, Mr. Jim Ellington, hello, Mr. Ellington, who I still correspond with. We really got to work together most closely starting that year, and he just, I think, instilled in us this small group. It was a small school that I went to, and a small group of dedicated little band of actors and actresses, and he taught us, I think, really good habits, and to act in a professional way, and to be kind to each other, and encourage each other, and I mean, that's my basis. You know, that's my basis.
Yeah.
Everything that I try to do.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't you say a Radio City experience as well? Or am I getting this confused?
When I talked to you?
Yeah.
No, I talked about when I was 4.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah, not at Radio City.
Oh, okay.
It was I said to you, okay, what was the first time I was on stage where I said, ooh, I want to do
Oh,
this?
Yes.
You want me to tell that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So the first time I was on stage, I was 4. I was in a fashion show for a little kids' clothing store. Okay. And I had 2 outfits, and it was at the Knights of Columbus in my hometown. And, my mother and it was for a fundraiser or something like that. And my mother and all of her cousins and stuff, tons of relatives were there and stuff like that. And I went down the little runway, and I don't know how, because it's not like I had ever seen, I was 4. So I don't know, but I remember it distinctly. I kind of, tried to play it up a little bit and be because I was happy. I was happy to do it. And I had a cousin who was rocking in the corner sobbing because she didn't want to do it. And I was I remember thinking, what's wrong with her? And I was this is fun. And I remember my mom and my cousins and my aunts and stuff laughing and being oh my God, look. But I knew they weren't laughing at me. I knew they it was just it felt like we were all having fun and they were enjoying it. I was giving them something enjoyable. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That was...
And you got clapped.
Yeah.
And I got applause and laughter.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, I said to Patrick, I'm you don't want me to tell that story, do you?
You could do a whole podcast about... applause.
Yeah, I always I tell people that applause means nothing to me. That
okay.
But
is that true?
Not really. I am constantly looking for affirmation and for that I reached someone, that I connected with someone. Right. So applause is
I think applause is wonderful, and I think laughter is wonderful. And one of the most gratifying things is hearing your laugh and Chris's laugh.
Oh, thank you.
No, I'm not kidding, because when I was in a show that you directed, and Chris would be there too, but you always from the back of the house, it's you hear or and it's it's just, it moves you along. It's oh, I am doing an okay job. Oh, I am doing well. It's just nice.
I'm very lucky to have a distinctive laugh.
You do.
And
it's a great laugh.
Yeah, it's like sending hugs through.
Yes, that's what it feels like. It's without that, it's
a void,
barren desert.
Yeah, I always say to my students that it's important to find the laughs in your audition, because no matter what you're auditioning for, there's a laugh in there, and you have to find it, because it is it is the one thing that I will write down in notes as someone's auditioning. I'll write laugh, that they made me laugh, because it's no matter what the script is that you moved someone to respond. It's just important. Tell us what you're going to make people laugh in. You be to make us laugh.
God willing, and the creek don't rise. Into the Breeches is by George Brant, and it is at the Albany Barn, premiering November 7th through November 16th, with a preview night, pay what you will, on November 6th.
Thank you.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
And the time is 7:30?
Yes.
7:30.
Yes. Talkbacks on November 7th and 14th, and a
glass ceiling,
a shattered glass ceiling party on November 8th.
Yes, so it's quite timely that it's election week.
Yes, the play is about...
picture it, 1942. Albany, actually. And a woman, Maggie Dalton, who owns a theater with her husband, Andrew. Andrew has shipped out. All the men have shipped out, essentially. Mostly all of the men are deployed. And her husband writes her and says that he wants her to step into his shoes and direct Henry IV and Henry V combined, otherwise known as the Henriad, with all women. And those familiar will know that those plays have 3 female roles, and the rest are men. So
Excellent.
hijinks ensue.
Yes.
And
great.
it's inspirational. I mean, it really is. It's a beautiful show, inspirational, patriotic, and very timely considering that it's election week and who all is running.
Yes. Yes, it's a woman taking charge
Rosie the Riveter.
and
yeah.
hopefully triumphant results.
Yes.
Yeah. So Deborah, what are you going to see? What are you looking forward to? Give us a Deborah's tip.
Well, tonight I'm going to the play reading at
Yes, Typographer's Dream.
Oh, yeah.
Theater Voices at
Theater
Steamer
Voices.
10.
Yeah.
Always good time.
Oh, I did theater voices too. I should have said that.
There you go.
I didn't say that.
And tomorrow I want to go see Oh Mary in the city.
So do
I saw it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you have not. Tell me okay. I saw it in August. I'm obsessed with Cola Scola. I have been obsessed with Cola Scola. Have you seen, did you ever see the show At Home with Amy Sedaris?
Yes.
Okay. So do you know her sidekick, Chassie Tucker? That's Cola Scola. And just like sick humor. Like so sick and so awesome. You will just die laughing.
So speaking of laughter,
Yes.
it'll be a good one.
Oh,
Yeah.
in fact, I saw it before the tickets got ridiculous,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to figure out a way to get back before January 19th, which is when it has been
Yeah.
extended to. It is so amazing.
There is talk of extending it. Like, I think it's going to be an
Further.
open run.
Yeah.
But they're also talking about a replacement cast. Like
Oh,
who's
nice.
going to
Well,
be-
right, and I think Cole has just about, it's a lot because he wrote it and stars in it, and it's a tour de force.
Yeah.
Oh,
You should. Oh,
Good luck
I want
to
to
you.
hear. I want to
And
hear what
then
you think.
Sunday I'll be at Ghent Playhouse.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'll see you then.
Yeah.
I'll buy you a coffee.
Who?
Deborah.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be at Kent together.
Oh, nice. Will they
Yeah.
have coffee there?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I'm there. Okay.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining another episode of The Play That Changed My Life. Hope you check in with us again, and if not, I'll see you in the theater soon. Thank
Amen.
you.
Thank you.